Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Economic Development Relaunch. I don't know what we're doing here. Things are moving pretty fast for us. We're very excited from the town of Okotoks that the Premier announced yesterday the relaunching of the Alberta economy, which has made us go into really fast drive of we are now moving our business disaster recovery plan to recovery, which is really exciting. How do we do this and whose role is what today's quick update on video is about. We wanted an efficient way to talk to all of you. We have been bombarded by emails of what does this mean for me? So whose role is what? Where is the best way to guide you? And I have two special guests with me today that I'll be sharing and letting them share their stories, and I'm hoping it will inspire you as business owners or organizations or academies out there of what to do next to open. So of course we have the general manager of the dogs here in town, and we have Lyle Seitz, who is a community member. He also owns Country Living and multiple other things. So Lyle, can you just go first and do an introduction of yourself?
Well, I want to thank the town first and foremost for giving us this time. I'm sure I know on behalf of us and Country Living, we appreciate it. I'm Lyle Seitz, one of the owners of Country Living, along with other businesses, as Angie said. And I have a twofold job. I also run pro hockey in Europe. So obviously COVID's a global affair, and we're dealing with it in Europe as much as we're dealing with it in Canada. And we're learning a lot in discussing how COVID is, it's global, it's a pandemic, and how it affects businesses both locally and internationally.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm really looking forward to that international lens on this, because I think you can bring some of those inspiring and pivotal changes that you're seeing in other countries to us here in Okotoks. So I look forward to that. And Tyler, here we are again. I'm excited to have you on as a guest because your academy and your organization, I'm just so proud of how you're pivoting, but please introduce yourself a little more.
Yeah, thanks for having me again. And I want to reiterate what Lyle said. Thank you to the town for everything you guys are doing and really trying to be unified in this response and moving forward. But my name is Tyler Hollick. I'm the general manager of the Okotoks Dogs and the Okotoks Dogs Academy. And much more secondarily, I actually scout professionally with the Milwaukee Brewers as well, but much more community focused with the general manager role with the academy here and the collegiate summer team.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for taking the time. You were given short notice. I'm also a business disaster recovery specialist. I've been serving in that space also for 6 years, and I never thought I would be in it again, and here we are, and I'm really excited to be able to, not only as the manager of economic development, but also serve my backyard and my community with this extra skill set that I have. So pivoting into recovery, you're going to feel my energy today is exciting for me, because that is a step of hope. That we're going to get back. And I've never seen anything like this. Usually when the fire is out or when the flood is over, that you go into recovery. So this was a long game, is the language that I use, that we've been in emergent and sustained mode. So as soon as we were given government mandate to now consider the relaunch, that gets me to move into recovery. And so that energy is here today, but I don't want to disrespect anybody that still is in the pain out there, or if you are not in phase 2, or if you are in phase 2 and phase 3, you, yes, are still in sustained mode. But I hope that you will listen today to get yourself ready for if that phase happens. We need to do this together. So I need everybody to really follow those regulations so that we as local, all 3 levels of government, if we do this together, and it's not that we have red tape or that we're being mean with regulations, it's for the long game and the outcome that we beat this virus, and that we can get back to some type of normal. So the number one question that we're getting right now in the Economic Development Office is, how do I do this? How do I open? So I would like to share the how, is that we have the resources out there, and later on we're going to have a slide up that will talk about the how, and if you qualify in the phase 1. But Tyler, I'm just going to go with you first. My question to you is, could you tell us how you, as the dog's operation, pivoted to when we were in emerge and sustain mode, what you did, and then as you now with this relaunch of the economy, I've been working with the organization, and we're doing a presentation to the local government here next week. And the key is that there was no government involved in that it was you that took this on yourself. So can you share us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've talked a little bit in the past. I've been on a couple of video calls and a couple of interviews about our virtual training and what that looked like, how we pivoted our program from in the facility to online. We rewrote a lot of the pitching and hitting and conditioning programs to transition so the kids could do it at home, make it a lot more accessible for the everyman. That is definitely run its course, and it's coming to an end now. We've been doing this for about 6 weeks, and all the kids have not only probably sustained what they built throughout the off season, they've probably gained a little bit and gone back to square one, but they're kids, and this is a game supposed to be played outside and over a very large space. So I think they're ready to kind of chomping at the bit to get outside. So I think first and foremost, the number one thing that we had to follow along with everybody is the regulation set up by the government and the health professionals, just so we can, like you said, beat this virus and maintain the safety of our neighbors, our community, our staff, our players, our parents, everybody involved. So I think everybody in our town specifically is what I can speak to, what I've seen the most, is an amazing job of that. And we're kind of sitting back now thinking, we don't want to be caught flat-footed with this thing. We don't want to be caught standing still. And we have phenomenal leadership with our managing director, John Ircandia here, and he really is pushing the pedal to the metal here, that when we get a green light, we're ready to go. So the last about a week or so, we've been brainstorming as coaches, as a program with one another, bouncing ideas off one another, that we can follow these guidelines. We can follow the 2 meters of social distancing. We can make sure everything is disinfected and the kids are entering and exiting certain parts of the stadium and not crossing past too much to get sick or to maybe raise too much of a problem with one another if they're coming to baseball and still getting some sort of training in. So what we're doing is we put together a little PowerPoint presentation of how we can illustrate that with our business, with our academy. We have 118 kids in our program, so it will be a lot to facilitate, but it will be very small groups. Obviously, a lot of them, maybe an hour and a half each day, where the kids are coming in, hitting some balls that are with 2 meters social distancing with the coaches, and guys are spread out on the field where they're not going to be close to one another, but we're still able to operate our business and move forward, so the players can get better. So that's a plan for next week to pitch to the town, who has been unbelievably supportive with a lot of this, and it starts with you and town council and everybody involved. So I can speak just on our little part, our little niche environment. We are in really, really good hands with the leaders that we have in this town, and I think we're it's looking up pretty soon. So.
Well, thank you. But the biggest point is you guys have taken the initiative on your own. You didn't sit back. I always say in the business world, when I do the business coaching, is your competition is when you're sleeping, your competition isn't. So for the business community, sitting back in sustain mode, I don't know if it's a natural thing because you guys are athletes that you just keep going, and being a Calgary, I love your statement, chomping at the bit. I totally get that. But you never stopped, but you never were expecting government to fix your operation problems for you. You did it yourselves. You approach us with ideas that may work, and that it's not that the government, on a local level, will give a yes or no. That's not. The government of Alberta has set the mandate out of what those regulations are. We just like to work with you. So working with you to, then we can work with our bylaw officers and our Alberta Health Services, anything that we have to connect you to make sure your operations, as you phase in, are open. We try to get that red tape and make it as easy as we can for you. So I'm looking forward to that. But the biggest message is we didn't do it. The people that are calling me right now and emailing our MLA and our MP, that's not their job. That it's your job as a business owner to decide how you're going to phase your operations in and adopt to it and adapt the new measurements. And then, yes, we are there to review it with you and talk to you and remove any red tape we can. So thank you for that. So Lyle, you are basically, Tyler talked about, you are, we're fortunate to have you as a business owner in town, but then also that other hat, you're doing it from a global side. So could you share how you guys took the reins, and we'll keep it that cowgirl theme here, and moved your operations forward?
Sure. The thing is, I guess for us, we started, or for myself, we started in Europe. I'm going to say this has been going on for sure upwards of 8 weeks, from canceling our season because we were in the heart of the beginning of playoffs, to what do we do for this past season? What are we going to do for this summer? And of course, now the lingering question, when are we going to start for next season? What we found is we have to, as both you and Tyler alluded to, respect, and we for sure do, government officials, doctors, and everything else. We still have to have our own plan. This is what we realized. And with our own plan, that means in preparation, and this is a global situation for us. Sport is global. And we had to make sure that we implemented a plan, we pass it on to the government, and then we sat down with the government and worked back and forth and back and forth. So no different than what Tyler's stating in Europe at the pro level. We're going to be able to start with small groups, or actually we already started in Europe in small groups. So we don't have a whole hockey team. We have 8 players at a time right at this time, but we're pretty sure we're going to have by July full teams going. Now, of course, that's government dependent. And we're pretty sure we're going to have a season going in September, with following confines, every second seat, whatever it's going to take to go. Now, in taking that experience, I was able to bring it back here, and obviously with country living, in any business, we can't be, the government is there to help us, but they're not there to give us everything and aid us in everything we're going to do. We have to stand up for ourselves and work together. And it's just why, Angie, I think communication is going to be the key. And as you said this morning, we got to, as business owners, have a campaign ourselves, and that's got to involve charity, it's got to involve community, it's got to involve youth. And if the businesses, we can all cooperate together, we all work off of 1 and 3 and 5 year plans. Now it's 1, 3 and 5 month plans, not year plans. And quite honestly, all we've done is taken our 1, 3 and 5s, moved it back to 1, 3 and 5 on months. And we're just, it's survival in one sense, and it's preparing in the other sense. And we're very confident through all this. And I know if we can get the other businesses involved, and I'm confident we will in our community, along with people like the dogs and those specialty communities or community events, we'll be able to make progress in this. I know we will, because I'm seeing what's going on in Europe. I don't want to say we're behind them, because COVID's COVID, but the point is Europe seems to be ahead of us in a lot of ways, and we just need to be prepared to get moving again.
Well, thank you for that. And I think, again, that driving and that energy in you is like, get moving again. You had to, it sounds like you had to lobby government a little bit to get them to consider you to open. And with Kenny's announcement yesterday, we kind of skipped that phase. We're ready to go. So it's, what are your expectations, both of you right now, owning a business, owning or managing an academy with the government, the local level? What is the best thing that we can do to support you or help you move right now?
For us and our country living, actually all businesses, I'm going to speak on behalf of Okotoks right now and all their businesses, support local. That is the number one thing. And it's not just support in the sense of, you know, oh, I come and bought something. It's support in supporting each other. So for example, and this is just an example, we can tie in with the dogs at Country Living. What does a garden center or what does a feed store have to do with the dogs? Quite easily, out of sight, out of mind is the old golden rule. So if we stay on Saturdays right now with a garden center, Mother's Day coming up, we have a dogs player, because we do have some dogs players here that need, or they want something to do. We can take our youth, we can take a dogs player, we can have them out there helping our elderly people with their flowers, what have you. We can keep our distance. We can follow the COVID rules. And that's just called cooperation and communication. So I believe we as a town need to campaign together. We as a bunch of businesses and a bunch of organizations need to get together, and we all got to put our working hat. We're all good at something. And if we put all our minds together, we could make this town, we could come out of this stronger than when we went into this. That's my personal feeling.
Tyler, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I completely agree with them. I think we all have to understand that we're responsible as a community member first. Everybody, specifically on this chat, we want to talk about the economic prosperity, and I couldn't resonate more with what Lyle said about, I think we're actually going to come out stronger than this, than when we went into it, just because I think people are going to find a lot more efficient ways. I think people kind of got pulled back to their roots, and they're going to understand what they need to do to make their business successful when it's thriving. But on top of that, I think the mental health aspect cannot be overlooked here. Like, there's a lot of people, you know, I deal with kids that are 12 to 18 years old. You know, I manage a small staff here, but I got, you know, family that's dealing with in all different industries and everything like that, that there is a big toll that it takes on your neighbor, on your community. Although the economy might be starting up again May 4th, let's say, or they're introducing it slowly, and there's phases to be introduced. There is going to be an uphill battle with climbing back economically, but also with our mental health. So just supporting each other, beyond the support local, not just going and buying some flowers from Country Living, but continuing to be involved in the community. And even with our announcement, I think this is big for us. And we just announced we're going to do a food drive for the Okotoks Food Bank on Saturday, May 9th from 9 to 5. At that point, and I've mentioned this before, this isn't only about the dogs. This is only about Tyler Hollick and the 118 players. This is global. And the best way, one of the biggest things I learned in school is the best way to create a sustainable environment is to start local. You start small and you build out that way. We're going to be in really good shape. So, the economic part of it is massive, of course. But there's some people that are facing some really, really tough times in this town. And if we can come together as a community, drop off an item or 30 or 10 or whatever it is on that day, and maybe we can support a few families through this tough time as they transition to phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and beyond that. So, I think supporting local and just understanding that we're here for each other and we will pull through.
Yeah, and thank you for choosing the food bank. I personally know the troubles that we're having on the food bank right now, and I don't think it's going to lighten up, so I really appreciate that. So just in recap, a few things that you guys have said is when I asked you what you needed from government to support, you didn't really answer it. You jumped into what you're doing already, but when I'm listening to it, I feel like connecting you guys to opportunities and promoting what you're doing. I think that, and as Lyle said, communication being the big key here, is maybe what we'll start to do on our business support page is have an opportunities tab on there so that you guys can, like right now we have the event page. So all of you, it's access to anyone, go to our website. You can just search events and you can put your events in there, anything you're doing, and get creative. Just if it's just a sale, like something that you're doing, put it in there. So we've made that available. The town has, so that you have that access to that. But we can start to do some more marketing to help you and support you with that when we see this stuff. And that if organizations or businesses are looking to partner with someone, that is going to be key for our success. There's something that I want to just help everybody understand and pull the heartstrings a little bit. We've done on our Foothills Business Recovery Task Force, we just did a survey, and then from my experience and training, I knew that the programs that were coming unrolled by the government were not going to fix the needs. And you often hear me say there's a second disaster, and it's called the deferred loan payment time. So everybody borrows and borrows and borrows to stay alive, and then we get into the false economy. When the false economy is done, and when everyone's done their spending in that hero phase, what happens is then the payments come due. This situation, with the surveys that we had, 57% of the business communities in our John Barlow or MP's riding said they don't qualify. So our small business owners, our small and medium-sized business owners are not qualifying for a lot of the programs. So they're doing this on their own. They're doing this with their savings. They're doing this with lines of credits, credit cards, everything they can. They're trying to lock down and sustain. That's why we did launch mental health webinars for free. If you go to the Chamber of Commerce website or our website, all of those are available for there, because we knew these are hard times. But that is like your big box stores, to have a solid economy. They also play a role in here in Okotoks. We are thankful for them and to bring them in, and they bring that traffic flow, but they qualified for this stuff. Those small business owners didn't. So if I can pull the heartstrings to anyone out there that is listening, that is why more important it is to support these small business owners to keep them going, because there's no resource, there's not a lot of resources. We're not giving up lobbying for you, your stakeholders, your chambers, your politicians. That's why we're going to start to see a lot of engagement and communication happen. And the town of Okotoks will be launching a survey on Wednesday to ask business owners. It's in partnership with our entrepreneur ecosystem to say, what do you need for recovery? And we hope to bring that data forward to our politicians on all different levels to say here, and then if we can fill the gap. So anything that we can do to help support you guys getting that message out there, because you're, Lyle, it's guys like you that are writing the donation checks, and I don't want to put you on a bad spot, but I know the owners and the investment groups, and you've been a staple item in this community that have donated and sponsored a lot. And and I'm asking, it's now time the business owners need you people out there. They need you to be giving back on theirs. So what, is there anything that you want to, like in closing remarks, that you want to share to inspire the business owners right now that have lessons have learned, or any tools or anything, like we'll go with you, Lyle, that you want to share?
I think the big thing for me is just the fact that we're within Country Living calling it cross-promoting. We're open to any and all business. We're open to any and all donation factors. We're open to any ideas out there. And if we can cross-promote, and I say that not just from business to business, also with organizations, with what does the food drive have to do with the dogs? Well, it has everything to do with the dogs, because it shows that the dogs are more than a baseball club. They're doing and giving everything back to the community in time of need. And as an owner of a business, it's great when business is ticking. Everything's great. We're all in the same position right now. And if we can get this community together, and if we can bring everybody from, Dave Gilbert at Sobeys to Todd at Sunbelt to whoever, all the businesses in town, we're all together all the time anyhow. But throw that in with our organizations, our sport. Tyler is 100% right. We have to get our youth going. Sitting at home all day, every day. I have 3 college kids here that, my goodness, if I don't get them out and get them going here somehow, some way, they're going to drive my wife and I crazy. But beyond that, they're going to drive themselves crazy. And Tyler's right. We got to get our youth going, if it's in small groups, however it is. And if it means, for example, Country Living helping out, maybe they need something we have, we got to all work together, and then we got to bring all these businesses together. And if we do that, I'm telling you, Ange, we will come out of this ahead.
Well, and thank you for your energy and your inspiration, because some business owners right now that are in phase 2, phase 3 are feeling maybe a little, and so you can say, don't give up, hang in there. If any of you want Lyle's contact information, get a hold of me. You'd be inspired by him. But my whole goal for you guys was bringing you on to inspire these guys that this is an opening. And I know your mental health, and I know your frustration, and they probably didn't get it right. The government, but we got to try somewhere. We can pivot and adjust, and we on a local level might not get it right here, but that's why we're going to keep that communication engagement with you, so we do. And speaking about community and getting out of mental health, I'm really missing that stadium, Tyler. So can you give us any update? Like, that's my summer thing to do. I was billet mom for 5 years, and any discussion about the college program coming back?
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely, it was looking, not very good for quite a while there. And the announcement yesterday certainly helps. There was a release today. Basically, we're looking at a delayed start to our season. So, that end of June, beginning of July, Canada Day, maybe kickoff, and then maybe extending that season through parts of August and everything. But, a lot of people are worried about the players, or if we're going to get enough, a field, a quality enough team. I mean, just from our academy alone, we have over 80 kids that have graduated from our local high schools, from our local academy, that are actively playing college baseball right now. Lyle has 2 of them in college right now down in Washington. On top of that, like we said, we have a very strong academy, and guys like Matt Wilkinson and Ricardo Sanchez that played on the team last year, they're back again this year. We feel very confident about, not only being able to facilitate that if the government regulations relax a little bit for us, but also, the quality, the product that everybody's going to be seeing. And I think, as we're talking about supporting local and seeing everybody down that stadium, I think there's more than just us 3 that are waiting to, get in the 30 degrees and get a bulldog in their hand and be watching some really good baseball. So no, that was the announcement today. I think we're really excited about it, and we'll continue to follow and monitor the guidelines closely. The 1, 3, and 5 months thing makes sense, and that's kind of what we're on the 1, 3, 5 week to 1, 3, 5 day type of thing, and see how things evolve for us and see how fast we can get the guys up here and start playing again. But we'll monitor it closely and we'll keep everybody updated. But right now we're looking at that delayed start as of now.
Oh, well, that is great news, because and this is how fast recovery pivots. And I want to make everyone aware that we are prepared that we could pivot and we could go forward into recovery right now. And next Friday, we could get a call from the government or a mandate that says, sorry, numbers are going up, whatever their measurements are, we're back in sustain mode, we're back in suppression. So everybody needs to understand that and that's just safety for our lives, right? So as business owners, please watch how much money you're spending. Please watch how much you're putting into this, because you are still vulnerable. This has never been done before. When we look at the Spanish flu, I think is the only thing we have to compare to. And they did have a second wave of it. So now, Lyle, with his global experience, I think being safe and making sure we do those social distancing regulations in our business, and our bio officers and all of us have a responsibility to tattletale on each other. We need to, because we need to hold everyone accountable to be safe, so that once we get open, we can stay open. So that's that will be the government's role for us on a local level, is to communicate what you need to do, you go do it, and then we'll be monitoring and we'll be watching it to make sure that we are safe, so we can continue those dogs games and get those teenagers out of your house. So just on closing remarks here, Joan, can you share, a lot of people right now are that slide of what is available, like what businesses are qualified right now to open? So here is the relaunch. The current state of early reopenings include the following: outdoor recreation, there we go, dogs, and effective, I don't have my glasses on here, but anyways, you guys can read it. The elective surgeries, so you guys just read that, and as a business owner, you can see what stage you fit in. If you don't understand or are a bit confused, please reach out to, if you go to the business supports page on the town of Okotoks, that information is also on there. This will be on there. Any links, we have a dedicated person to resources on there, or call us or email us at the economic development phone or email, and one of us will be in touch with you right away. That is going to be our job, is to connect you to the resources, connect you to are you eligible to be opening. So thank you guys so much, and thank you for your energy and your passion to keep going, paying forward. I need these 2,000 business owners to do exactly what you're doing, and we're going to recover together. So have a great weekend, stay safe, and thank you again.
Thanks, Angela.